Okay, we are going to finish up 6.2. I know you thought we finished, and I kind of thought we did too. But I just want you to be prepared for the test because there's a problem on here. This is an example. This was example 2 that we did not do. And I said it wasn't going to be on the quiz, and I did not put it on the quiz. But the math is a little bit different, just a little bit. It's not crazy hard, but it's a little bit different than what we've been doing in here. All right, so I want to make sure I do it because I think there's a problem like this. Who knows? It could be the same exact problem. I don't have the test in front of me, but I know there's probably a problem on here that's very, very similar to this. So I want to make sure that we go over it. All right, they tell you, what do you think this probably is right here, this figure? A rectangle? It's parallelogram. It is a quadrilateral. Okay, all the stuff we've been talking about are quadrilaterals. But this is a specific type of quadrilateral, and it looks like a parallelogram. But do you know 100% that that's a parallelogram just by that picture? No, you don't. Okay, so they have to tell you. They could do this. They could put parallel sides, right? You make this parallel to this and this parallel to this with the arrows on there. But this is how they do it on this problem. They tell you. They say it's given, which means this is what they're telling you. They're telling you that this is a parallelogram. They call it JKLM. Okay, so if you see this where it says given, and then that's the parallelogram symbol, right? So that's parallelogram. So you know that the opposite sides are parallel, right? But you know some other things about a parallelogram. What else do you know? What's that? Okay, we just said that. We said the sides are parallel. We know that by definition. But what else do you know? What else do you know about these sides? Let's talk about the sides.
Oh, congruity.
Congruity? Yeah, they're pretty congruity. They are congruent. All right, they're equal to each other. All right, so this side and this side are equal. You with me on this? All right, this side right here. You did this on the quiz, didn't you? All right, except the math on this is pretty much what you did on the quiz, except the math on this one's a little bit more, I want to say difficult, but it's a little different, just a little bit. Not much, just a little different than what you had to do on the quiz. All right? What do you know about the angles on a parallelogram? You know, a couple things. What angles are equal? All 4 of them? J and L are equal. So they're the what angles? They're the opposite. Very good. They're opposite each other. So the opposite angles are equal. So K and M are equal to each other. All right? What do you know about J and M?
They're not consecutive.
Okay, that's true. They're not equal, but they are consecutive angles, which means they add up to 180. Give me a good geometry word for adding up to 180.
Give me a letter.
What's that?
Start with E. The sum. No, parallel.
What's true when 2 angles add up to 180? They're supplementary. Okay, they're supplementary. All right. Guys, making me a little nervous. We've been using these words over and over and over again. All right, so here's what they're going to ask you to do. They're going to ask you to find all the angles. I'm just going to write it like this. All the angles. And what else do you think they're going to ask you to find? All the what?
Sides.
All the sides. Yes. Oh my gosh. Has anybody not gone to the bathroom in here this period? I think every single person in here has gone to the bathroom this period. It's driving me crazy. Josh, when he gets back, you can go. All right, let's do this. So you might see this on a test. Let's pay attention. You taking good notes, Terrell? All right, Josiah, you taking good notes? Yeah? Sure you are. It seems like at least you're paying attention. That is true. All right. Can't ask for too much, can you? All right. Let's do this. Let's find all the angles. So what are you going to do? Mario, you said that this side or this angle and this angle were what? Supplementary, which means they do what? They add up to 180. Exactly right. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go 7a, what? Plus 13a equals 180. Okay? Everybody see that? So look, this angle right here is consecutive with this one, which means they're right next to each other. Well, you might be thinking, well, this one's next to this one, but guess what this angle K is? It's also 13A, isn't it? So these are also supplementary, right? You got that? So the ones that are next to each other are supplementary, which means they add up to 180. So I could either take this one and this one, add them up to 180, take this one and this one, add them up to 180. It's the same thing. Right, because they're just equal to each other, right? But the problem is, if I set them equal to each other, 13A equals 13A, I won't be able to solve for anything, all right? So I'm going to take this one and this one, add them up, set them equal to 180. Let's do it. 7A plus 13A is 20A. We can do this without a calculator, can't we? Yes. Divide by 20, divide by 20. What happens to the zeros here? They cancel. What's 18 divided by 2?
6.
18 divided by 2? It's 9. All right. All right, let's keep going. Here we go. Here we go. So A is equal to 9. Is that my answer? Do I circle it? Oh, why are you eating in here? I'm going to take it. That's like my favorite candy, too. Don't throw it away. Just put it in a bag or something. You got it. You got your bag right there. No.
That's a write-up.
It is a write-up.
That is a write-up. I'm throwing it in the trash.
Good idea. Oh, my word. What did I do in life to deserve this? I don't know. All right, here we go. I'm just teasing. All right, here we go. Let's do this. So we solve for A. I got to find all the angles. So let's find, I don't know, let's find this angle right here. So what do I do to find that angle? That's right. I just go 7 times 9. Here we go. So I found this angle right here, 7 times A, 7 times 9, which is 63. So this angle, still in a different color. I'm tired of just the black and white. So that's 63 degrees. So angle J, if you wanted to list it out, I'm not going to list them out because of time, but angle J would be 63 degrees. Okay, what can I find very, very easily without doing any math? Angle L. Okay, what's angle L equal to? It's also 63 degrees because the opposite angles are equal. Okay? Now, you could find this angle M or angle K, doesn't matter which one, they're the same thing. So I could find angle M, which is 13A. All right, so I could go 13 times what? Times 9. Do you know what 13 times 9 is in the top of your head? No. No, you could write it down. You could write it down. Okay, right. It is. Okay. But you had to think about it a little bit. All right, and that's perfectly fine. You could go 13 times 9. All right? And if you didn't know what that was off the top of your head, you could go 13 times 9 like this, couldn't you? That's what? 27. That's 9 plus 2 is 11. So you're right. It is 117 degrees. What's another way you could do it? Maybe, I don't know if it's any easier than this, but you could also, watch, if this is 63 degrees, remember, these are supplementary, aren't they? So what could you do to find these right here? Minus from 180, right. So you could go just 180 minus 63. I don't know what's easier. I think they're probably just about the same. You do the math, that's a 7, that's a 1, there's a 7, there's a 1, there's a 1. There you go, 117. Okay, or you can pull out the calculator if you wanted to and then figure it out. But by the time you get the calculator out and start punching the buttons in, you could have gotten the answer, all right? So there you go. So that means that this is 117 degrees, and this right here is also 117 degrees. That's correct. All right. So we are not completely finished yet. Why not? Well, we just found the angles. What do we got to find now? Find the sides. Very good. So let's find the sides. This is where the math on this one, that was no different. I could have easily asked that on a quiz and expected you to get those answers, okay? So that's not where the math is difficult, right? This next part, I don't even want to use the word difficult, but it's a little different than what we've done before. So let's take a look. On a parallelogram, we know the opposite sides are parallel because it's a parallelogram. That's the definition of a parallelogram. But we learned something else. What else did we learn about the opposite sides of a parallelogram? They're equal to each other. Exactly right. That took like 5 minutes to get my other class to figure that out. But at least one person in here knew that the opposite sides are equal or congruent to each other. So what we're going to do... So what we're going to do is we're going to set them equal to each other. But we're going to see that there's going to be a little bit of a problem. Okay, we did that on the quiz, okay, didn't you? You had a situation where you set the opposite sides equal to each other and you solve for x or whatever they ask you to solve for. But this one, we're going to come up with a little bit of a roadblock here. But let's figure it out. So 2x is equal to what?
5y.
Right, because the opposite sides are equal. This side and this side are equal. Okay, so these two are equal. So 2x equals 5y minus 2. There's a little problem, though, that we didn't encounter before.
There's two different variables.
You got two different variables. Exactly right. Okay, couldn't I just get x by itself and get a number? No, because I'd have a y in there, wouldn't I? I couldn't get y by itself because I'd have an x in there. So just with that information right there, I cannot solve for x or y. But I also know something else, don't I? I also know that this side right here is equal to this side right here. Okay, so let's write that down. So x, right, this is x, equals what? What's this x equal to? This x equals what? This word right here, 2y plus 1. So x equals 2y plus 1. So now, watch very carefully. Here's the step. It's really not that big of a deal. It's not that difficult. So I want you watching. A lot of you guys aren't paying attention at all. Okay, and this is going to be on the test. And you're not paying attention. I just don't get that. Wish I could just teach and not have to tell people pay attention all the time. Just be nice if I could just teach and you'd pay attention. I actually do have classes that I teach here that I can do that. Or I can just teach and I don't have to tell them, hey, be quiet, get your head up, pay attention. I don't have to do that with some of my other classes. All right, just letting you know. All right, so what we're going to do, this x, here's something that it's important to understand. If you have two variables, an x and a y here, x and a y here. If I have two variables, remember we started off with this, and you're like, oh, there's nothing I can do with that, right? If I have two variables, I must have two equations to be able to solve for both of those variables, okay? If I only have one variable, like an x, just an x and that's it, I can just have one equation and solve for it. But if I have an x and a y in an equation, I must have a second equation to be able to solve for x and y. What if I had three? We're not going to do that in here, but in Algebra 2 you will. What if I have three variables, x, y, and z? How many equations will I need in order to solve for x, y, and z? Exactly right, okay? If you have three variables, you got to have three equations. Two variables, two equations. One variable, one equation. Everybody got that? So we got two variables, and I have two equations. This x represents the same number as this x does. This y represents the same number as this y does. Okay? So what we're going to do, we kind of know what x is. What is x? 2y plus 1. Well, I got an x right here, don't I? Exactly right. Perfect word. Okay, I'm going to substitute. And you probably did this in your Algebra 1 class. I'm almost positive that you did this. You may not remember it, but I'm sure that you did this, okay? So watch. You take this and you substitute it in for this x, because this is what x is equal to, just like we did right here. Remember we said a was equal to 9? What did we do? We substituted it, that 9, in for that a, didn't we? All right? So what's this going to be now? It's not going to be 2x. What's it going to be? Well, not quite. It's going to be 2 times 2y plus 1. Yeah, you're on the right track. Everybody got that? That's your 2x, isn't it? That's 2x. What? Mr. Hammer, that doesn't look like an x. Well, sure it does, because it's equal to x. That's exactly right. We substituted it in. Let's finish up the second equation. There's my 2x equals what?
5y minus 2.
You got it. 5y minus 2. Now, we have one equation, and we have how many variables? One variable. Now, it shows up here and here, but it's just one variable. It's just a y. Everybody got that? So now, we should be able to solve for y. Exactly. You're using good math words here. Distribute. So you take that 2, you multiply it by here, you get 4y plus 2 equals 5y minus 2. Now it's easy, okay? Subtract a 4y, subtract a 4y. Then let's get this minus 2 on the other side. How do we get rid of this minus 2? Plus 2. All right, let's see. That cancels. 2 and 2 is 4. That cancels. That equals y. So y is equal to what? 4. It's not my answer, though.
No, but you gotta plug it in.
Got to plug it in. Exactly right. So you can plug it into either one of these. It doesn't make any difference. Let's plug it into this one right. And let's do this one right here. So what is it? Y is equal to 4, correct? So it's 2. Let's do it in our head. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So this side is 9. Without doing any math whatsoever, what's this? That's 9 as well. Okay? Now, the other two aren't necessarily 9. But again, remember, I do know what y is, don't I? So y is 4. So let's do it. 5 times 4 is 20. Minus 2 is 18. So that's 18. What's this one? That's also 18. Look, we didn't even have to do any math and solve for x, did we? All right? We know it's 9. Let's just do it for the fun of it. Let's do this one right here. X is equal to 2y plus 1, isn't it? So x equals 2 times y, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9. So it does work, doesn't it? So even if I plugged it in, I get 9. But really, all I needed to do is find y, and then I could find all my sides.
It is a lot of steps, like 99 steps.
Yeah, but I wouldn't give you this one problem. Listen to me. I would not give you this one problem like on a test. Okay, I would, like one problem would be find angle J. And then another problem would be find... Okay. And then I could find, I might say find side JM. Okay? And then you just have to find that. So I'm not going to ask you to find 8 things. Okay? Everybody with me on that? I'm just going to ask you one at a time. Actually, there's some problems where I ask you to find 2 things. But in that situation, here we go. All right. We ran out of time, but here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do. There's a... I don't have enough time to do this. So why? Everybody look here. Everybody look here. So there's a question. Now, I did this in the other class. All right? I'm just going to do this real quick. Watch. What if I told you that this was equal to this? All right? Let's say that was 3, then that's 3. What if I told you that? But then over here, I told you this was 4. What do you think this one's going to be?
4.
It's also going to be 4. And that's really all it is. These are parallel lines. All right? And then if they tell you these two are equal, that means these two are equal right here. We good? All right. That's it. That's section, whatever it is, 6-2. No homework. No homework.
Mr. Henry, when you look at my test and you just be like, no point, I'm just giving him 100 because I know he passed.
Is that what I'm going to do? I hope so.